Hey there folks, my name is Peter, and on today's video we are going to unbox tools from all sorts of brands, including my very first pickup from Snap-on. Now, I've never done an unboxing video like this, so you have to bear with me, leave some comments, let me know what you'd like to see in the future. I'm pretty much always buying tools. You could say I'm a collector of sorts. I realize they are meant to be used and I try to use them as often as I can, but at the end of the day, this is just a hobby. I certainly don't get paid to deal in tools. If I did, frankly, I might make some different decisions, and I think there's a whole video around my sort of strategy and mindset with respect to purchasing tools. But nonetheless, I have been picking up a lot of stuff recently. All this is from Amazon, this is from Ohio Power Tool, and of course, this is from Snap-on. I feel like I can't get this stuff and make use of it until I share it all with you, and thus, we're gonna unbox some gear here today. So sit back, brew yourself a cup of coffee, and let's start talking about tools. So first things first, I picked up this pair of, and by the way, I'm gonna use my Milwaukee Fastback for all of my opening today. I have been looking for just like an easy set of brushes in the garage, you know, as I scrub, I don't know, whatever I think to scrub down. And prior to buying my own little scrub set, I was stealing brushes from my wife in the house, and that wasn't going over too well. So this is a 3-brush kit, and of course, I'll have links to everything in the description down below, but you've got a sort of angled handle on this one. You've got a straight handle over here, and then this is your small for getting into fine areas. One of my goals with some future content is to do some, I guess, product restoration, if you will. I love watching those videos, and I have a handful of tools that were given to me, some of which have rust and they need to be cleaned and brought back to life. So I thought stuff like this would be really useful in being able to do just that. I want to say that for 3 of these it was around 15, 20 bucks, which I think is a little expensive, frankly. Sometimes on Amazon you just sort of get what you get and you don't get upset, but pretty happy with these. They feel nice in the hand, and I can't wait to put them to use. Next, we have this screwdriver kit from Lowe's, Klein tool brand. So I had been seeing videos about this screwdriver a lot recently, and I was in Lowe's buying a sump pump for a future maintenance project, which I'll be sure to make a video about, and I just thought I had to have it. So let's break into this, because I actually think that this may replace the Husky ratcheting screwdriver that I have in my Vito Pro Pack, which of course I've done a video on and would encourage you all to check out. But what's nice about this is that these are all impact rated bits. Oh man, this packaging, they certainly don't make it easy. So as I was saying, these are all impact rated bits, and you've got 11/32, 3/8, 7/16, ½ inch, 1/4 inch, 5/16 nut drivers, impact rated, and then on the tool it comes with a big 5/16. So you've got your, wow, did you hear that coming out of there? That thing is in there tight. So you've got a square head and a Phillips on the bit that comes in there. And then I think you could probably just take this whole thing out. You can, right? So if you take out the square head and the Phillips, there's your 5/16 nut driver. Stick that in there, nice. And then you come over here, I don't know, let's throw this in there. So this is the sort of piece that they all stick onto when not in use. This is Klein Tools 32907. I don't know if that's the model number for the whole thing or what. But of course the Klein screwdriver handle that we all know and love. Feels really good in the hand. It's got the rubber grip. Impact rated, not really something you want to strike with a hammer, but let's see if we can't find some bits to put on here. So if I throw this thing in here, then I take maybe a ½ inch. Wow, that is a strong magnet, holy hell. There you go. Now you've got a ½ inch nut driver on the end of it, and of course it's got all the different pieces that you can connect. These will pass through down to the bottom. But I think to put it back away, you got to come up from the top. Is that right? Yeah. So you sort of slide it up there. Seems like it's a little bit of a pain in terms of getting everything put back together when you're done. Ooh. So So what I like about this, again, is the fact that these are impact rated bits. So I'm gonna probably put this in my Vito Pro Pack so I have some impact rated sockets on there essentially. In keeping with the theme from Klein, we have this pass-through socket set. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this just yet, but when I was buying the screwdriver, this was another one of those things that I felt like I had to have. So it comes in this nice blow molded case. It's got a ruler on the back, goes up to about 6.5 inches it looks like. So that's pretty cool. Let's get this thing open and see what we've got. So this is your pass-through ratchet. And what's good about this, once you put the socket on there, right, if you have a really long threaded bolt, right, and maybe you don't have a deep socket, or maybe even the deep socket just won't get all the way down there. I know on my Kawasaki Mule, when I try to take the battery out, it's got a threaded bar that sticks up quite a ways. So something like this would be perfect. Now, previously I'd been using ratcheting wrenches to solve that problem, but this is just another way to do something quite similar. So you have your thread, you feed it all the way down there, and actually I can show you. So I just took the battery out of the Kawasaki Mule the other day to put it on a tender for the winter. But when it's on there, you can see that there's this piece of metal. So this sticks in the bottom, and then there's a bar that goes here to hold the battery in place. And of course, when this nut is all the way down, at least I don't seem to have a socket that will reach it, right? But you can imagine doing something like that, right? And you can't. Oh, hang on. So you can see just barely the thread is sticking out of the top of that ratchet there. And so that's basically how I'm thinking about using something like this. Truthfully, to me, this is more of a kit that I will probably put in a vehicle, maybe even on a boat. We will see. But I just love the way that it was all sort of put together. Beautiful little kit. All right, next. So I don't know if this is maybe going to be a piece of EDC gear for me. I had considered buying one of these, I think when I first put the Vito Pro Pack together, and I opted against it for reasons I don't quite remember. But the other day I was on Amazon, I had a cart pretty much built all the way out, and I said, you know what, why not? So this is an Estwing cat's paw. And it's a 9-inch, which I think is the shortest one that they make. And I find that I will most likely throw this in either the Maxpedition Beefy that I have in the truck. I don't really have a true pry bar in there at all at the moment. Or I could put it in the Vito Pro Pack. The reason I don't think it'll go in the Vito Pro Pack is I already have an Estwing hammer in there. I have a 16 ounce, but something like this in the Maxpedition Beefy in the truck, I think would make for a really nice pry bar. Obviously, you're not going to get it into a super small place, but I think it'll do its job pretty well. This one is made in Taiwan. So it's got a zip tie on it, which I'm going to wait to cut because I have some tools coming that will help me do just that. So Estwing cat's paw. Next, we'll go back to the idea of the Kawasaki Mule here for a second. So this is a push pin plier set from Gear Wrench. Now, when you go on Amazon and you search for push pin pliers, they do sell a single plier for I think $12, and then this kit was about $30. So a little bit more expensive. Obviously, you're going to get 2 pliers, but you are paying more per plier than if you bought the other one. But this has both a 30-degree and an 80-degree offset for the push pins. Now on the Mule, when you want to take the hood off, there's also like a cover where the spark plug is. All of that requires that you get those push pins out of there. And if you don't have a tool like this, what you'll end up doing, and what I've done in the past, is taking maybe a flathead screwdriver or maybe just whatever plier you happen to have on hand and pulling them out that way. Of course, something like that will probably work, but not nearly as well as something like this will work. So this is a Gear Wrench brand, and then you can see it's got those little, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's got these little feet here on the end. So if you've got the push pin that's in the center, you can sort of go down and pull it right out. It was actually really funny when this came in the mail because I opened the box and my wife said, didn't you just buy a pair of pliers? Because she saw the box said pliers, and I said, oh, pliers are like shrimp in Forrest Gump. there are as many types of pliers as there are ways to prepare shrimp. And so yes, I do have pliers, but I didn't have a set of, push pin pliers, and now I do. Of course, I do have some panels on my Ford truck as well that I could pull if I needed to. And using these, I had previously bought like a body panel puller kit, but it didn't come with this. So I don't know the degree to which I'll need the 80 degrees, but I just thought to have the set would be a little bit nicer. I want to try and get something so that I can hold these closed when they go in the drawer. I did buy a pair of plier organization McGaffers for the drawer, so I'm really excited because pliers has been on my mind a lot recently. So maybe I'll do a little video of showing these, how people work, for like a YouTube short or something. But about 30 bucks, gear wrench, 30 degree, 80 degree push pin plier set. Pretty happy with them. Next we have this Lanxey knife sharpener. Now I'm not going to go through and open this whole kit right now. I'm probably going to do a separate video sharpening a bunch of knives. I had been looking for a kit. Obviously I carry my Leatherman multi-tool, which has a knife. I've got, you know, obviously safety blades. I have knives everywhere, frankly, and I really never had a great way to sharpen them. I went on YouTube. I watched a video on this Lanxey sharpeners, and this thing is super cool. Basically, once you set it up, it clamps the knives down. You put, I don't know how well you can see it in here, but there's 3 holes, right? And the hole that you put it in will dictate the degree of your blade. And so this will support, if you're trying to sharpen a fillet knife, or you want to sharpen just an everyday carry knife, they have the settings to enable you to do all of those. This one came with 5 stones. And you just sort of work your way up, right? I think the top one is ceramic, but you can go from coarse to fine, or no, they have extra coarse, coarse, medium fine, ultra fine. So there's a few different kits for these sharpeners, and this is my first time buying a knife sharpening kit, so I wasn't exactly sure which one to get, but this seemed like it had everything I would need. I did buy one other piece for this because when you put this thing together, you either just have to like hold it with your hand, or you have to sort of jerry rig some sort of clamp for it. I didn't want to do either, but they do make what is basically like a tripod. So I'm thinking if I can connect the tripod maybe to a piece of wood and then clamp the wood to the bench, that'll make my life a little bit easier as I sharpen. So be on the lookout for a video reviewing this more in depth, but for now, based on the videos I've seen, the reviews I read, this looks like a pretty good kit. Next, I'm super excited about these. So one of the channels that I have been watching a ton of lately is Toolbox Tours. And every now and then I come across some stuff that I'm like, man, that's pretty nifty. And what these are, this is the Duratech brand 8-piece super thin wrench set. Now Duratech does have a lifetime warranty, so that's pretty cool. Comes in this roll. Okay, so you can see the roll there. Velcro, nice. So this is going to have from 5.5 up to 24, 27. Okay, now these are the super thin wrenches. So what I'm thinking is every now and then you have to like assemble a piece of furniture, and they give you those really crappy little wrenches. I think stuff like this would actually be much more nice to use. So you can see how thin this is. And then if I compare it to, this is a Cobalt, you're talking about, I would say almost double the width of the wrench. So I thought that these would be neat. They have a much more expensive set from Capri Tools that I considered, but I said to myself, let me see the rate at which I make use of stuff like this. Like, to me, it's more of a specialty wrench because you can't put the same torque on it as you would something that's a little bit thicker. You'll just snap the whole thing. But I thought this was a super cool kit, again, for assembling furniture and stuff like that. Next, this is our last Amazon purchase, then we're going to get into the big dog. So this is just the Craftsman pick set. The only other picks that I have currently I bought on Amazon. They're these little black ones, and I use them just for random stuff. I wanted something a bit more substantial. I realized that, you know, Craftsman certainly isn't what it used to be, but I think for my purpose, again, this is one of those specialty tools that even if you buy a snap-on pick, chances are in your lifetime you're going to snap that thing anyway. So I was more than okay to buy something like this. I don't have like a snap-on dealer, so for me, swapping things out, getting them warranted is gonna be a little bit more difficult. And of course, I'm just getting into Snap-on, so we'll see the rate at which I have to do stuff like that. But for a set of picks, I thought these were reasonably priced. They give me a little bit more to grab onto than these little baby ones. And as I'm looking at this now, it looks like I have bent this, so go figure. But Snap-on picks, again, link is in the bio if you want to check them out, but I thought they were cool. All right, so what's in this box from Ohio Power Tool will likely be familiar if you watch my video in which I put up the rest of this pack out stuff here on the wall. I had said that what I wanted was an M18 impact, and that's not what I got. So Ohio Power Tool was running a deal in which you bought one tool, you got an XC 5 amp hour M18 battery for free, and what I bought was the M18 fuel impact. What they sent me is this cutout tool. So we will have to get in touch with Ohio Power Tool. I'll send this back to them if they wanted. I don't do sheetrock, and I'm not cutting out electrical boxes, which I think is the primary use case for something like this. So I don't really need it. If they want me to keep it, I will, but I just want the drill. So we'll have to come back to the drill when the time is right. All right, so now our first foray into Snap-on. Now this one I haven't opened at all. It literally just came 20 minutes ago. So we're gonna get to that last. Instead, we're gonna start with this one, which has some cool stuff in it. This was my first purchase. Of course, I did buy the Snap-on mobile soldering iron, which I used to replace a trailer light over the summer. So if you haven't checked that video out, I've got it in the beautiful the Vito ProPack OC140. So check that video out if you haven't already. But to me, that's not quintessential Snap-on. That's a much more modern implementation of their brand. But the hand tools, which is what this stuff is, I think is quintessential Snap-on. So number one is the LN46 ACF. And of course, these pliers have been making the rounds all over YouTube as of late. They've got 3 settings for the slip joints. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and these are the ones that you've seen videos of people picking up quarters by the side. I don't have a quarter handy to show you, but I ended up buying these are the 7-inch versions. They also make a 9-inch, and who knows, maybe just the 9-inch are the ones that can pick up the quarter, but I just thought that they were super cool. My first set of basically Snap-on pliers. Now what's interesting here is that I've actually got another set of these pliers in the box. What happened was, and this is just my not knowing, is when you put it in the middle position, you see how the tips here are not aligned? So to me that was a quality control issue, because when I'm in the first position they're aligned, and when I'm in the third position they're aligned. So I sent Snap-on an email. I said, like, hey, what's going on there? Is something wrong? And I don't know, they just don't seem that organized. What happened was I got 3 different people that responded to me. The first one said, hey, we'll look into it. The second one said, I'll send you out a new pair right away. And the third one said, actually, I just talked to the product person and they said this is how they're supposed to look, a little offset. So I didn't respond. I said, okay, fair is fair. I didn't know, but I'm happy just to keep them as they are. And but they sent me the second pair anyway, so I have 2 of these. I'll have to get in touch with Snap-on and see if they want me to send them back. This is the second pair. All right, next, our first Snap-on ratchet. This thing is, I mean, just absolutely adorable. This is their 1/4-inch flex head. My only other 1/4-inch drive I got as part of my Husky. I bought like a big mechanic set. And the story there is I was replacing a cabin air filter in my F-150. It required some socket that I didn't have, and I got frustrated. I went to O'Reilly Auto Parts and I bought like a little torque wrench kit that had the socket I needed, or the socket I needed. It came with a ratchet. And then I said, you know what? I never want to be working on a project again and not have the socket that I need. So I went out and bought a 300-piece Husky mechanic set. Most of it is still in the box, but I basically have just decided that over time, right, so maybe once a quarter, I'm going to treat myself to a Snap-on delivery and just sort of upgrade stuff over time. And this quarter I did 2 purchases, but moving forward I think it'll be 1 purchase a quarter, and I'm really just focused on Snap-on ratchets, sockets, pliers, maybe screwdrivers, maybe wrenches. The rest of the stuff isn't super interesting to me. I don't know that I necessarily need Snap-on sockets. To be clear, I don't need any of it. But you know, my thing is, and I think that this is a whole video unto itself, like I was saying, in terms of like my strategy and feelings towards buying nice tools, but this is just purely a hobby for me, right? And from my perspective, when you have something that's just a little bit nicer, you're much more inclined to want to use it, right? So I can come out here and I can look at the pliers and say, okay, where can I go in the house and tighten a bolt or fix something or build something or what have you? I just think it makes it a little bit more fun to do stuff like that. If I was a professional mechanic of some kind, chances are I'd have a very different outlook, right? I'd be looking to say, okay, if I could change the oil with a set of Pittsburgh tools in 20 minutes, right? And I can change the same oil with Snap-on in 19, that probably doesn't fit the cost-benefit analysis, because the Snap-on costs, well, compared to Pittsburgh, about 20 times the same thing, right? So they're not optimizing for enjoyment. I am very much optimizing for enjoyment. You know, I see stuff like this and I'm just like, man, that is so freaking cool. I also bought the little spinner that goes on the end of this. It's back ordered, so I don't know when exactly I will get it. I think that this is one of their 100-tooth ratchets. A little stiff in terms of the flex head, but I think that that will loosen up over time. This is also one of their quick release. And so I'm thinking once I get that little spinner on there, this is really nice the way that it fits in your hand. You can use the spinner to just sort of maneuver. And yeah, I don't know. I think that they're really, really cool. I realize that they're very expensive and arguably you don't need any of it, but I like it. So Snap-on 1/4-inch ratchet. And then the last thing from the first package is a set of the Snap-on flush cut pliers. So we had the zip tie earlier on the Estwing cat's paw, and I said I'm going to wait to cut it because I've got my new flush cuts. So of course, in this case, I don't need a flush cut, but there you go. I love the green handles. I think these things feel super nice in the hand, and then this clip, just to sort of protect them, is pretty cool. It says USA right on it, which is awesome. And I think that these are a really nice addition to the Snap-on collection. What's been interesting about Snap-on is that sometimes it'll say that everything's in stock, but then when they actually ship it all to you, you don't necessarily get everything in one package. So, all right, so first things first. And in fact, I am missing one thing from this order, but that's okay. This is the Snap-on catalog. Now, this thing's actually free when you place an order online, and it has everything that they make all in one catalog. So some nice, I don't know, bathroom reading, if you will. Again, I'm assuming if you're working in a shop of some kind, you're gonna have this there in case you need to find stuff that you're looking for. But for me, I would say it's really just more aspirational. I think it's super cool. The fact that this was free was amazing. Really excited to have this in the shop. All right, next. Now, I'm actually thinking of doing a video on Snap-on EDC. Let me know if you would find such a video interesting. As I was perusing the website the other day, I said, you know what? You could make a pretty substantial EDC kit using nothing but Snap-on tools. So I may want to do that. This is the Snap-on pry bar. It is PBM S5 or 55, something like that. Now they make this in 2 different versions. They have the straight head and they have the like a 45-degree head, something like that. And this is perfect. I mean, this will fit in your pocket. This will fit in your Maxpedition. This should fit in a sling bag. Beautiful little pry bar. I mean, this is not a gimmick. It's not something that they were just making to just give away on the tool truck. It's got a little pocket clip there, so you can hold it on your person if you so chose. And yeah, I don't know. I think Snap-on EDC is interesting, again, from a cost perspective. You've got Knipex pliers that are good. You've got Olight, Opry tools that are good. I just bought a Mighty Bar the other day. So you have a lot of options, but if you're looking to build a Snap-on kit, I think you could do a lot worse than something like this. And it was only 15 bucks. Now, when you're on the Snap-on website, you have to spend $250 to get free shipping. So if you're gonna buy this by itself, it's not gonna be $15. After tax and shipping, it's probably gonna be closer to 30 or 40. But if you're already spending $250 because you're buying ratchets and pliers and whatever else, you could definitely do a lot worse than picking something like this up. And lastly, the tool that I am arguably most excited about is my first Snap-on 3/8 ratchet. Now here's the thing. As Wrangler Star would say, I am a professional homeowner, if you will. So 1/2 inch, I really don't come across stuff that requires me to get up there. 1/4 inch, you know, again, this is more, I would say, like unique and specialty jobs. I just like how small it is. But the 3/8 is really where you're going to, quote unquote, make your money as a homeowner, right? You can pretty much get everything done that you need to with this, and probably a lot that you don't. So I went with the hard handle. It's got that beautiful sort of baby blue to it, which I think is really neat. Feels good in the hand, pretty well weighted. Obviously it's a little heavier over here, so maybe this could be a bit more robust. I wanted some different colors, but all they had on the website in the hard handle was this. And it seems like, I don't know if they're making less of the hard handle stuff or what, but pretty much everything seemed to be the comfort grip, and that's just not what I wanted. So you can hear that. I don't know if this is 92, 100 tooth, something like that. Still has the grease on it from the factory, but from a quality control perspective, it looks like everything is pretty nice. I mean, I saw a video the other day where somebody said, like, hey, the way in which they're stamping Snap-on on the ratchet is just not as good as it once was, but nothing to me would suggest that. Got our on-off switch here. It's a little louder, and then you come over here. This one's a little bit more broken in from the flex head perspective, right? Where again with the 1/4 inch, it's a little bit harder to maneuver, but again, I think that's just one of those things that'll break in over time. So I'm really excited to have this. I have a few more ratchets on my list for the future, but I can tell you right now, when I come out to the garage and I open up the top drawer with all the sockets and ratchets, and I look down at this, you know, I just know I'm gonna ask myself, okay, like, what can I do with my Snap-on 3/8 ratchet today? And I think that's super cool. And that is the conclusion of our unboxing today. Now, I was gonna go do this live, but I couldn't quite figure it out. I guess I don't have enough subscribers. So all that being said, I would love it if you would subscribe, like the video if you found it interesting, and if you want to see more unboxings in the future, let me know. I don't typically do unboxings, so it was definitely new for me, but I did enjoy it, so hopefully you did as well. And I'll see you on the next video.